Every day on this channel, I go through everything Elon said on X in the last 24 hours. And here's Elon's best performing post today. He says, I hope Iran doesn't try to destroy our top secret nuclear facility, pictured here in the top left corner. It would be a real shame. And Elon says, starting tomorrow, the aesthetic nightmare that is hashtags will be banned from ads on X. The algorithms are so good now, you don't need hashtags. And you gotta love X. Khamenei says the Iranian nation is victorious and will remain victorious by the grace of God. And Greg asks, source? And Elon has a laugh at that one. And then Khamenei says the Zionist regime must know that attacking the Islamic Republic of Iran will result in a heavy cost for them. And Elon just responded 20 minutes ago saying, is America the great Satan or the greatest Satan? And that is just a case of Elon being Elon. And Khamenei said, my congratulations on our dear Iran's victory over the US regime. The US regime entered the war directly because it felt that if it didn't, the Zionist regime would be completely destroyed. It entered the war in an effort to save that regime, but achieved nothing. Elon raises an eyebrow and then says again, please don't destroy LinkedIn. It's located at these coordinates and please don't destroy it. And wow, here is a prime number with 420 digits. And if you look closely, you can see a little Grok logo in there. And now a hard transition to this space Grok photo. And today the Axe 4 crew successfully docked with the space station. Elon reposted docking confirmed, a little clip of them docking, and they docked at 6:31 a.m. Eastern Time. And 1 year ago today, Falcon Heavy boosters made a successful landing. And during a NASA town hall today, the workforce was told it would probably be at least 6 months before a new administrator was in place. And this announcement coincides with a 2026 budget slashing of NASA science programs by a third in 2026. And the European mind cannot comprehend this. I feel the cool air conditioning on me now. They'll never know that feeling. It's not very well adopted in Europe. And Elon says AC is amazing. And if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you know that Alexander is trying to get FSD approved in Sweden. And the regulators there, the politicians, are so opposed to it that he's beginning to threaten them that he is going to start a coalition to sort of get them out of power. And today, the Sweden's national television called him. They want to do an interview with him regarding his effort to get Tesla FSD approved. And he says, stay tuned. And Elon says, cool. And of course, Tesla's kicked off its robotaxi service in Austin. And Stephen Mark Ryan says Tesla has a chance to do the funniest thing ever with their service area expansion. And he proposes that Tesla makes their geofence area into a giant penis. And it's the most Stephen Mark Ryan thing ever, and I wish I'd thought of it first. And Elon responds to it with just the Italian kiss of delight. I would not be surprised if Elon does this. And it would definitely generate a lot of conversation about robotaxis. And Giga Texas factory is so big that it takes 1 minute to record everything from right to left when you're going past it on the highway at 80 miles per hour. It's 100% true that everything is bigger in Texas. Elon says the factory is about a mile long. And we're just 2 days away now from the proposed date from Elon when a vehicle, a Model Y, will drive itself off the factory line to the customer's house in Austin. And Sawyer says, based on the videos and photos you've seen online of both the robotaxi and Waymo experiences, which service would you rather ride in right now? And based on 67,000 votes, 61% said Tesla robotaxi. Of course, this came from Sawyer, where a lot of Tesla fans follow him. Elon reposted it, which is a much more general audience, but it's still coming from the guy who owns Tesla, or 13% of it. But over time, I personally have no doubt that these numbers will change. Tesla is so vertically integrated in every aspect of robotaxi, they can ensure that the experience is as good as possible. And Test Calendar quoted Elon, who said that if it turns out nobody wants to buy a weird looking truck, we'll build a normal truck, no problem. And Test Calendar suggests it's not selling very well, so is it time? And Jesse quotes this and says, the truck on the bottom, or the typical truck, is the weird one. It makes no sense structurally, aerodynamically, spatially. It's purely an imitation of the past. It has no soul of its own. It's a copy of a copy of a copy. It's a product of a civilization in decay. A product of a cargo cult that imitates the impression of a form rather than understanding its essence. And James Dama quotes this and says, I love my Cybertruck. It's the apotheosis of design and utility. The tasteless hordes and their mainstream media-addled brains may be unequipped to recognize its brilliance, but I don't care. To abandon it for yet another mediocre Me Too creation would be tragic and unacceptable. This thing, the Cybertruck, is a masterpiece. Beautifully written from James Dowma. Elon quotes it with a strong arm and some flames. Somebody DM'd me on X last night actually. He said that he's taking his whole family from Edmonton down to Vancouver and he wants to bring his Cybertruck because it has FSD, but he's worried that people in Vancouver are going to vandalize his Cybertruck, and so he wants to bring his Hyundai instead. And it's crazy that still several months later, that is still a fear for Tesla Cybertruck owners, but he says he gets flipped off every single day at least once, even in Edmonton, which is conservative. So I think it's pretty tragic that the weight of all of Elon's political actions in the last 6 months all fell onto Cybertruck, but the reviews from owners are so good. Hopefully it has a comeback. I mean, remember, Rogue shopping carts don't even stand a chance. Today, Elon said, built, bullet, tough. And Sawyer says LG Energy has officially started production at its new $1.4 billion lithium ion phosphate battery cell manufacturing facility in Michigan. It's the first ever LFP battery plant in the US dedicated solely for energy storage systems at scale. A third manufacturing line should be running by the end of the year, and the plant will eventually have an annual production capacity of 16.5 gigawatt hours of battery components for energy storage systems. And Elon replied to this saying, "Where is their lithium cathode and anode refined? That's what matters." And I hope it's in the States because China controls 65% of global lithium refining and 75% of cathode production. Hopefully they seek out Tesla's lithium refinery in Texas if they have the capacity for LG. And Elon agrees that nuclear, solar, and batteries altogether is the future. And Neuralink has several patients now who in total have used Neuralink for 10,570 hours so far. So Elon's obviously doing a lot of cool stuff, and he says being useful at scale is the hardest thing in the world. Yeah, scaling is pretty hard. And Deborah's not feeling too good today. She needs a hug. So Elon says, "Where's my hug?" And Diana closes X and then opens X. I do that myself. And Microsoft CEO says the real benchmark for AI progress is whether it makes a real difference in people's lives, in healthcare, education, and productivity. Elon agrees. And Elon's still talking quite a bit about this New York City mayor who got elected, Zohran Mamdani. He promises to stabilize rents, and that's not solving the housing crisis. It'll actually make it worse, according to Jeffrey Mead. Rent control kills development, discourages renovation, complicates maintenance, and makes it harder for new renters to find homes. Bill Clinton was also congratulating him on the mayorship. Elon responds with an eyebrow. And here's some of the things that this guy is proposing. He wants to freeze the rent so landlords cannot raise rent. He wants to make grocery stores ran by the city, not the private sector. He wants to make New York City an LGBTQ sanctuary. He wants to raise the minimum wage to $30 and end ICE cooperation, which is immigration enforcement. And I think Omar articulates extremely well why these things sound good, but they're actually harmful. Raising the minimum wage to $30 sounds like it will make the working class rich, but businesses will have to raise prices to be able to cover the higher wages. That will make things more expensive for working class New Yorkers. Companies will avoid New York City and hire elsewhere if possible, so New Yorkers will have fewer job opportunities or will have to leave the city for a job. And freezing the rent sounds like it will save everyone money, but if you can't raise rents, you have no incentive to invest in your building or maintain it well. So housing stock will degrade in quality, and in addition, the incentive for the private sector to build housing will be diminished, meaning fewer units available and a shortage. And you know what that means. And building affordable housing is nice, but presumably this will be paid for by taxing New Yorkers. City-owned grocery stores will not be run as well as private ones. They never are. The profit incentive makes people care about making sure everything is running well, and the government has no such incentive. And so very rarely does the government run anything well. And fare-free buses is nice for commuters, but this will presumably need to be covered by higher taxes or reduced service. And he says our borders do need to be enforced to some extent as well. He doesn't go into why. I think we could all come up with a few reasons. Policies like these have led to many lost lives over the last century. Those who don't learn from history will have to relearn these lessons the hard way. And today, in a nationwide raid, 170 German citizens had their houses searched and their devices confiscated this morning. Why? Because they posted social media posts containing hate speech or because they insulted a politician. Eva says Germany is a full-blown police state. And while the exact number of German citizens hasn't been confirmed by authorities, this story does seem plausible because a lot of large-scale operations like this one have been happening in Germany recently. And Mike Benz quoted this and said the sheer scale of Germany's assault on freedom of speech online is something that is hard for Americans to even process. Germany is also the key driver of European policy and has the third largest economy in the world. So its clampdown on domestic politics stops Europe-wide change. I mean, in Britain, a mother who posted an offensive social media post and quickly deleted it got 31 months in prison, which was more time in prison than 2 men who were jailed for a 14-year-old girl. That's pretty insane. And a Wikipedia editor is currently trying to delete grooming gang scandals Wikipedia page. The same editor wrote a long article about why children should be introduced to sexual fetishes at an early age. And Elon thinks Tropic Thunder is a great movie. And China now has tank boats. Here they are in action. Elon says, interesting. And Elon posted a lot about birth rates today. Spore says it's the largest issue facing all of human civilization, and it seems like almost no one cares. Zuby thinks that it's more likely low birth rates will quietly kill off many civilizations before any loud global war does. And Elon responded saying that low birth rate was the primary factor in the fall of Rome, and all civilizations that enjoyed an extended period of prosperity with no serious external threats. It's shockingly overlooked by most historians. And Japan population is collapsing. The country has more deaths than births, with its fertility rate below replacement levels. They need to start making more babies in Japan, and which policies will be needed to turn this around? It's a lot more deaths than births as well, wow. And humans will need 2.7 kids per woman to survive, and we're not even close to that number. Elon says people who have kids do need to have 3 kids to make up for those who have 0 or 1 kid, or population will collapse. Well, that was everything that Elon said today. He certainly got political again. And you know, if you're over the age of 50 and you're past fertility, you're no longer able to reproduce, and you want to support this initiative, let's get those kids coming and save humanity. Well, I'm fertile. And if you're past that time and you want to support me, build a financial wall around my family nothing can get through, then I recommend you join this channel as a member to support my reproductive ambitions. And I will multiply into many little YouTube channels. Anyways, I'm on the lookout for pretty ladies who align with my values, so wish me luck, you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.